So Amazon have released the new Fire TV Stick 4K Max. That's a long name. And I've got one to go through and show you guys. The Fire TV Stick 4K Max is an upgrade on the Fire TV Stick 4K, and it brings some technical improvements and some new features. Today I'm going to look at this whole package, what it offers, what it's capable of, and what its limitations are. I'll look at what is new and give my opinion on whether it's worth buying. But first of all, a quick disclosure. This device has been purchased at retail price. Any thoughts on it are my own. Now on the Max and also on the Cube, you can do picture-in-picture for security cameras. So if you have a security camera, a video doorbell, or a baby monitor that's paired up with your Alexa smart home, you can pull that picture up onto the TV and shrink it down into picture-in-picture. That brings with it tons of use cases. You can check if the kids are asleep. You can make sure that wasn't a burglar that you heard upstairs. You can see why your wife's been at the front door talking to your neighbour Jeff for 30 minutes. So what else is new? Well, added to the picture-in-picture, we also have support for Wi-Fi 6. And I mean, at the moment, chances are your router doesn't support that. But if you have an upgraded router, or in a few years after Wi-Fi 6 has been rolled out more thoroughly, then that'll be a really good speed boost, especially if you do a lot of streaming or you plan on streaming games through Amazon's new streaming platform, Luna. Now I haven't tried Luna because it's not available outside of the US yet, but you can download some Android games, and I've downloaded Crossy Road, and that gave me a very good feel to see what this was like with gaming, because it is just a streaming stick. It's not designed to be a gaming console. And you can tell that when you're playing. Even something as simple as Crossy Road, when you're tapping to move forward, there is a delay, and it makes it almost impossible to play a game like this. So here is the Fire TV Stick 4K Max box. We've got some details about some of the things included on the side here, and the fact it's got a quad-core processor. Some more details around the back, just about things that you can do, and then everything that's included in the box. We can pull this tab here to open it, pull that up, and then out comes the remote and the Fire TV stick. You also have all this cardboard stuff with some other bits inside, like manuals. We've got a little adapter so we can move our Fire Stick around corners if it's difficult to get it in. And we also have these batteries for the remote, and we have a plug socket. So let's get all of this horrible plastic off of it, pop the batteries in. It's a shame that they haven't gone for something a little bit more environmentally friendly like we see in some of the Apple products, but we pull off the rest of this plastic and there we go. You see the power cable, the HDMI on the side, and we've got Fire TV logo on the front. So installing the device is pretty simple. So we just pop the stick into a HDMI slot, or we use that adapter, and then plug the power lead in. Now we cannot plug the USB into one of these USB slots, it has to be into the plug socket. You then load it up, and it downloads the latest software, and then we can log into our Amazon account. Once we've logged in, we can continue through there, and it prepares setup for our remote. And then we can just double check that the remote is controlling things like the TV volume. We can then add in all of our apps that we want to have, log into our account finally, and then we're in. So it's a very familiar remote, and it's the new one that they brought out across the range of 4K and up. It's nice and simple with the power button at the top, a button to summon Alexa, your directional buttons in this ring, some simple buttons for navigating around the software and your apps, a live TV button, standard rewind, play, forward wind, some volume controls, and a quick shortcuts to different apps. In the UK, we have Prime Video, Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Music. In the US, Amazon Music is switched out for Hulu. And the remote does feel fairly nice. It is plastic, so it's not the most premium, but considering that, it is pretty good. So I really like Fire OS. It is pretty clear and simple and easy to get around. It is a bit Prime Video focused, so you do have to scroll down quite far till you start getting some suggestions from other apps, but to be honest, it being an Amazon device, I would have been surprised if it wasn't. Unfortunately, you do get some advertisements on the homepage, which isn't the most ideal, but is sort of quite commonplace nowadays. Now, it would be frustrating that you have to sort of scroll down quite far to get some of your suggestions, but most people are going to be accessing it through the apps at the top in the favourites bar, and you can change which apps are favourites by going into the menus there. And just being a bit more realistic, chances are you're just going to be summoning what you want to watch through Alexa anyway. Watch Shang-Chi.
Here are some results.
So you do get a wide selection of apps available on the Fire TV store, and I'm certainly not aware of anything that I normally use that was missing. What is a little bit annoying though, is that every single app that you download shows up as a purchase in your orders on Amazon.com. It's not a big problem because it doesn't really affect me, but it's just a little bit annoying. Now Alexa is probably one of the main reasons to buy one of these. Just being able to add the Alexa functionality to any TV is brilliant. Plus, if you have a smart home with Echo devices, this slips into it really neatly. With the Alexa voice button, you can pretty much do anything that you'd be able to do on your Echo devices. Asking questions, setting timers and reminders, controlling smart home devices. But you can also use it to cut through all of the annoying menus and to get straight into any content that you want to watch. You just say what it is that you want to watch. It will race through all of your apps to find out which one will have that program. And what your Fire Stick also does is it sorts through that and puts it into folders so you can see what is free to you and what requires paying for. So is this the one you should buy? Well, I think it depends massively. The benefits of having a separate box and not using your TV operating system, well, there's a few. Really, mainly only the most expensive TVs are going to be having an operating system that's going to compare in performance to something like this. The fact that you can breeze through the menus and there's no lagging or anything is a massive advantage. For example, one of my TVs is a Samsung and its menu is so slow. It is infuriating. And I would always use something like this over it just because it infuriates me. The other reason is that this can plug into any TV that doesn't have the functionality. So you can take this wherever you go and you have a smart TV on any dumb TV, as rare as dumb TVs are now. Another thing to bear in mind is thanks to Amazon, we actually have a vast list of different products that offer Fire TV. There's a light one, there's a normal one, there's a 4K one, there's a 4K Max one, there's a Cube one. We also now have TVs that have Fire built in. So why should you go for this one instead of going for some of the cheaper options? Well, first of all, the cheapest two, the light and the normal Fire Stick, they don't support 4K. So if you have a 4K TV and you like watching content in 4K, you're not going to be able to do that. So they're gone. The main competitor for this one will be the non-Max version because it supports a lot of the same stuff. Obviously it supports 4K, you get Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, and the only differences really are the ones that I've listed in this video. So why should you buy this one? Well, I think it's mainly for the personal experience. Other than Wi-Fi 6 support and the picture-in-picture, the main thing you're going to notice is the very slight performance upgrade when going through things like menus and opening apps. And it sounds like a really minor thing, but actually the price difference is a really minor price difference. In the US, it only costs $10 to upgrade, and if you go for one in the UK, at the moment it's only £5 more. So ultimately I definitely get it for that extra boost. You get an extra ½ GB of RAM, which doesn't sound a lot, but it's actually a 33% increase on the last one. And you also get a slightly faster CPU and a slightly faster GPU, which isn't going to make a massive difference, but it will be just enough that it just seems smoother and a lot more flawless. But then again, in the same breath, you're not going to be losing a lot if you do decide to go for the model down, and you will save a little bit of money. So it's entirely personal preference. But if, like me, you're someone who gets infuriated by slow menus, I would personally upgrade to the Max. You could also consider the Cube, but the Cube is like twice the price. So even though you do get a lot of performance upgrades, that is a much more considerable jump to make. And ultimately, I think the Fire TV 4K Max, that is going to be more than capable enough for you. Thank you very much for watching, and click this video here to see another video that YouTube thinks you'll like.